Hey guys, Cosini here. People have been asking me to make a god for a long time. Uh, haven't really been getting around to it because I'm lazy, but I'm finally making it. It's gonna be pretty long because I want to talk about a lot of things. I'll add timestamps in the description because, you know, I don't think anyone's gonna sit through a 30-minute video just to find add-ons or something. So I'll make sure to do that. But let's get into it. Gonna talk about a lot. Alright, I want to start with Pre-Awakening. There's a lot to go over, so let's get into it. MMA, this doesn't have much use in PvP, other than 1v1 combos, and it's mainly a PvE skill. That's why it's my bar. You don't really need it. You can ignore it if you want to for large scale. Concentrated Magic Girl, this ability is trash. Lock it, get rid of it, delete it. They need to do something with it. It's terrible. Get out of here. Fireball Explosion, you derank these. Now, the reasoning behind that is because they do more damage. Simply put, they have no PvP reduction, and the damage modifier is really not that much different. So this means that on top of it using a percentage of your mana for bonus damage and not having reduction, it does a lot more damage and is 100% worth deranking. Okay, it may seem weird, but you just gotta trust me on this. You can compare it. Go hit your friend. I promise you. Meteor, we derank that because it gets super armor. 1 minute 30 cooldown compared to 30. Not a big deal. You know, you're pressing it at the start of a fight. It's not that much different. You're only gonna use it once. It's SA. It lingers for a while. It's really nice to have. I lock Lightning Chain. Lightning Storm is useless. Don't need that. Lightning and Residual, same thing as Fireball and Fireball Explosion. You know, you derank them. Residuals abound. Fireball's a KD. They're nice to use for poke as well. To get, like, you could throw them into a ball, get a bunch of CCs, and somebody could follow up on them. They're awesome. And they do some pretty good damage. If you've ever seen any of my montages, I have gotten multi-kills with these. They are very good. Freeze, this is more for dueling. You don't really ever use this in large scale. I mean, you can throw it into a group, but it's not really worth it. Frigid Fog, this skill is amazing. I have this hotbard, so I can use it from Awakening. It is a freeze in super armor. You can use it to catch ninjas gaps, sorks gaps, Awakening Nova, any class that's gonna rat on top of you. It's very good to catch them with. Blizzard, that's just a huge slow. We don't use it as much in Awakening. But if you ever have a chance to just sit on a rock and throw it into group, you know, you may as well get a couple ticks of it off for the slow. Earthquake. I had it deranked for damage, but nowadays, I don't ever even press this. It's dog, honestly. It's not good. They nerfed the CC, so it's just bad. Earth's Response. I don't ever use this either, really. It's for a dueling combo, but nowadays, you're honestly probably just better off using Awakening skills only. They do so much more damage now. Rain of Fire, this is your Magnus. I don't really use it. To be honest, I should, but I don't. I'm not used to it. It gives mana when you hit people. It's a forward guard. I have a hotbard, but it's just so slow, man. I don't like it. Yes, you can animation cancel it with Rabams Fireball, but we use heal to not be inting. And yes, I think you can cancel it out of that as well, but I just don't care. Like, I don't use it. If you like it, you know what? Use it. But that's pretty much it, honestly, for the staff skills. Alright, let's talk about Awakening skills. This is your ebuff up here at the top. This ebuff is honestly probably one of the best in the entire game. It gives you mana, casting speed, crit, DP, evasion, accuracy, AP, and mana when you hit people while it's active. Now, the main reason that this is insane is because the AP and the accuracy get shared to your party. So, say this is my buddy here. If I ebuff, it has that circle, and anybody in the circle will get the 20 AP and the 15 accuracy. It's nuts. This is your grab up here. Flame Knot. You know, The wizard grab special. Yes, the toxic grab. Everybody loves it. It is super satisfying to grab people with this. I wouldn't worry too much about using this in large scale though. Like, until you're super comfortable on the class, you're just gonna throw it out, get animation locked like that, and die. Because it's slow. It's the worst grab in the game. But we have it. It's good when you hit it. And it takes some practice to use. But yeah. Magical evasion. Just your side dash. Super armor. Aqua jail. This skill has a slow on it. Does decent damage. Really nothing that special about it, to be honest. It's just okay damage and a slow. Water sphere. Ranged KD. Unprotected. One thing to note about this is if you do the flow right out, it's going to grief your CC because it will air smash them. And that is bad. So if you were going to do the flow, just know that it's just going to be for damage because your knockdown will get scuffed. Hellfire. This is a forward dash ability. Pretty good. It's forward guard. Now, something to note about this that's very important is that it's your AP buff. So when I press it, I got AP. And it's a magic TP down. But the most important thing is if you hit somebody, it will explode. And then it does really good damage. But another thing, if you press L and B, you can explode it whenever you want. So theoretically, I could come from out of range. Hellfire will not go all the way. But you could go left click and still hit them. And that will stun them. So that's good. Kata, this is your evasion debuff. Does okay damage too. When you're crit buffed, it does really good damage, to be honest. And capped. But yeah, mainly it's just your evasion debuff. And a bound. It's a bound. That's good to know. Chilling wave, this gives you crit. Does really good damage. And it's a forward guard. So just like that, has the explosion at the end. That's a lot of the damage. Gives you the 10% crit buff that stacks with add-on. So you get 40 crit just from that. That's really, really, really good. Because if you use any other skill that has low crit, like Cataclysm, after, you're going to get a pretty big damage spike. Flames Calling. To be honest, this skill sucks in PvP. It's unprotected, it's slow, but I use it to attack structures. It does okay enough base damage to make it worth pressing if no one's attacking you. Obviously, don't just press it because you're going to get CC'd. But if there's no one there, you're good to go. Okay, Barrage is cringe. If you do up RMB, just like that, it will launch forward. That's fine. So this skill has split damage. Really good damage, though, if it's not split too much. But the main annoying part of this skill is you can't really control when you get launched forward. If I do my combo here and hold RMB, you won't move, though. So the trick is to have your reticle has to be red and they have to be close. If that is, and you have to use it out of another skill. So for instance, as I just did, that's how you can do it. Another way you can do it is if you do this combo, you know, when you LM, Chilling Wave, and then Barrage, you will not move. That is the only way to get it to not move, is to do it directly out of your combo. If you use it instantly, it will always, always move you. Okay, Magma Bomb. This part, or this skill is very good. So, Magma Bomb used to only flow out of Hellfire like that, with RMB, where it's instant. But now, with the most recent buff to the class, if you ball lied, and you can also RMB and get Magma Bomb. You probably couldn't even see it because it came out so fast. But it's insane burst now. Very, very good. This skill does a shit ton of damage. Always, always, always do it after one of these two skills. Hellfire or Ball Lied. Never just press it on its own because it's slow and it sucks. Don't do that. Elementalization. This is a backwards super armor into iframe with a huge gap at the end. Never do it like what I just did. The only way to use this skill correctly is to use it out of another skill and into another skill. Like that. So you will always do it casting an ability. So if I'm casting Kata, I'm going to press down E and then I'm going to press down F. That way, there's no gap at all. And the chances of you being CC'd in this annoying skill will go down significantly because, frankly, they need to make this an iframe. But that's a discussion for another day. Yes, always use it out of an ability into another one halfway through the animation. You will almost always get hit stuttered in the super armor part. There's nothing you can really do about it other than die. So it's risky to use, but if it works and you don't get stuttered, it is really good repositioning. So keep that in mind. Retardando, this is just your slow. It's ranged now, has a way easier to hit. You can know you hit it because it's a bubble. Lava Field, they also made this range. So you can go all the way, let me climb here, all the way up here. And I can target this guy, shit, even this guy. And it will throw directly where you hit your reticle. Super good now. You throw this into forts. If you're at a fort, you throw it on the stick or any structure hitting. It does decent damage and it's ranged, so you can even do it before you go in. Core Bolide, always take this. The other two suck. Water Spheres for dueling and PvE, in my opinion. I wouldn't really use it in large scale, but Bolide is nuts. It makes one of your best abilities, Bolide, a knockdown. Because it already does insane damage. Let's give it a knockdown, you know? So yeah, that's basically it for awakening skills. Alright, BSR time. BSR, Wizard has a couple good ones. Alt, I only use this in uncapped because of the AP buff. The damage is, frankly, not the best, but you can use it if you want in capped. I mean, there's no reason to because now Bolide normally has a CC with the core. But the main ones are Kata and Water Sphere. These are nuts. Kata is used for dismounting horses and cannons nowadays. It used to do so much extra damage over normal Kata, but now doesn't really. It does do more damage, but it's slow. And that's the main thing that is bad, is it's too slow. So I only use it to dismount. Water Sphere is the big one. So it is a ranged BSR, and that's good because say there's a cannon in the tree, you know, you can shoot it, and they'll get dismounted and fall out of the tree. But the biggest thing is that it gives you 10% crit. Now, this is important because if you know, all of the pet flows have 0 crit, and Chilling Wave has 0 crit. So getting 10% more crit is an insane damage boost, even just 10%, because it stacks on top of your add-on and your Chilling Wave buff. So you have 3 crit right here. That's nuts. Your BSR really should never be a problem when you're in a ball because you have a shy. So I do this before every engage if I remember. Sometimes I forget because I'm distracted, but if I remember, I'll always do it. It's a pretty big damage boost. It's not like you're not going to go from 2 skilling to 1 skilling people, but it does help. So that's worth noting. All right. It's time for Rabams now. So this one for PvP, unless you're dueling, always take Sage's Light. The heal is insane. Your guild will love you for doing it. If you don't take it, your guild will call you an inter. Just Rabam heal, shift X out of Awakening, full heal yourself. It's just too good. All right, you can save so many lives with this. Earthquake, you do Swift Earthquake in PvP. It does okay damage. I mean, it's not the best. It's like a Panic super armor. Honestly, I don't use it much nowadays, but I do use it. It has gotten me a couple kills, so it's worth it. Lightning Spear, I have it hotbarred because you have to. It's PvE skill. That's all there is to it, really. If you had to take one, take it. Man Arrow sucks. Lightning Spear is the one to do. But it's for PvE. But that's basically it for Rabams. Okay, for all your utility, I figured this needed its own little section because there's a lot. Obviously, you want Speed Spell, Hotbarred. It has to be Hotbarred. This is a very powerful group buff, 20% to all speeds, casting, attack, and move. You pretty much your shot caller usually will call it. But if not, you just hop in the middle of as many people as you can at Node War and pop it. Mana Shield. I also have this hotbar so that you can use it from Awakening. But this essentially gives you resistance and this Mana Shield buff. Now what this does is if you take damage, 25% of it, I believe, yep, 25%, will get converted to your mana. So if you take a hit for 1,000, 250 is going to get removed from your mana, and only 750 will be removed from your health. So that's insane because that makes you very tanky, especially in capped. So always pop that if you want to be tanky. Some people don't like it because it drains their mana and they die. But if you're smart with it and you're not just diving into 20 people like a Dracania, you know, you're good. And we hop our mana absorb for the same reason. You just press it in Awakening, forward guard. If it hits anything, you get full mana, essentially. So those two, you really shouldn't have any problems unless you really are playing bad and you're just trying to be a Dracania, like I said, but you don't want to do that. Healing Aura. This is your small heal, and you can give it to allies. And you hotbar it too, because you can use it from Awakening. Same for Lighthouse. You hotbar it because you can use it from Awakening. And it swaps you straight to staff, and you don't have to C-swap and then press it. It saves you time. Blue and red orb. Blue orb you don't need anymore because it's attached to the pet buff. So as long as you have your pet out, you have blue orb. It's on my bar just because I didn't have anything to put there because it's been there for years. Red orb I don't use anymore. I used to put it in bases, but there's no reason to because Hellfire has magic DP and Lava Field has magic DP down. And you have a bunch of Megus and stuff running around nowadays, so it's not as big of a deal. Teleport. I also hotbar this because if you're sprinting around, you know, catching up with your ball, and you teleport from hotbar, it's instant into iframe, or if some Musa runs up on you, you don't have to, you know, pull out your weapons and then teleport. You can just do it with your weapons away. Saves you some time. Sage's Memory. You also have to hotbar this. It does not work unless you hotbar it. This makes any pre-awakening skill you do instant cast, which is very good because it pretty much turns your staff into a suck wizard. The main uses of this are for PA, for Meteor, which I just used, and for Lighthouse, because it makes it close to Rabam heal's speed. Not quite, but close. It ran out there, obviously, but yep, that's pretty much it for that. And PA, you know, we all know what PA is, even if you don't play Wizard. 50% damage reduction, super nuts. Always use that. The new ability, though, Arc Wizardry. Yes, this ability is very troll. To be honest, I do never use this to go in, because if you use it to go in, what's happened many times to me, and I'm sure has happened to you, is you get grabbed when you don't want to, and you die. Because sometimes it glitches. If you even fall down the smallest little rock, it will put your allies' weapons away, and it will kill them. So I never use it to go in. What is good, though, is say this is their base, and I'm diving in, and oh no, you know, I'm out of cooldowns, and I'm dying. You press it, and this entire windup is iframe. It is insane, especially if you're slowed. You are iframe for a super long time. So I use it to get out, not to get in. I use normal teleport to get in. It is better for that. So that's my only real note for Archmage. And plus, if you're using it to teleport out of a base, you could possibly save a teammate or two, which is even better than getting them killed. So, yes, escape tool. It's insane. I'm super happy that they added that. But yeah, that's honestly basically it for secondary skills. All right, combos. Let's start with your highest DPS combo possible. This is if you have flawless execution and you get behind the ball and nobody's hitting you, okay? I mean, realistically, you will never get this all off, but if you do, this is what you would want. So you TP in, you Hellfire, Ball-Eyed, Magma Bomb, Kata, Chilling, Barrage, Aqua Jail. That's going to be the highest damage you can do to a ball with all your skills. Okay? Now, realistically, as I said before, you're never going to get all of that off safely. So, forward guards are unreliable because some ninja or whatever the heck could be behind you to get you out. So, an SA combo that you can do to dive would be teleport in, Kata, Ballide, Magma Bomb, Barrage, Aqua Jail. That has no gap and is full SA. So, you don't need to be worrying about getting hit out of forward guard. It's not the most damage by far, but it's a safe combo. Okay, for a grab combo, let's say you catch some Zerker who's 200ing or something. I like to grab Hellfire, Ballade, Magma Bomb, Barrage, Kata, Chilling. That does pretty good damage. And I mean, after the Chilling, you can even add Aqua Jail if you have time, but normally they're getting up by then, so I usually don't. But that does really, really good damage to anybody you grab. And it's a fast combo, which is good because you technically only get 1 CC since you pretty much ballied right out of the grab. But, I mean, this is large scale. We're not trying to do any fancy evasion shred 1v1 combos, are we? Alright, one thing I wanted to talk about quickly is a full super armor rotation, including going back from staff to awakening. Doesn't have much use because you'll die before you ever need to be in super armor this long. But it's just something nice to know, I guess. So I'm not really going to name the skills as I go, or else I'll have brain lag. But you can watch my key indicator and what skills I press down here. So as you're rotating, you know, your super armors here, the SA icon should never go away. You have to go into staff abilities, and then you're going to be stuck. So you have to pet swap with hotbar, and then you can continue your super armor rotation. But eventually, you still run out. Now, you can pet swap back right after that Frigid Fog because the other staff skills are on cooldown. But again, you're never going to be alive that long. But I figured I'd mention it. And while we're here, I guess I'll say this. Ballide is the longest super armor. So if you ever need to linger, that's the one. Alright, one thing I really wanted to make sure that I got in here. It's going to be hard to show in BA, but I'll do my best to explain it. And maybe I can add a clip over or something if I have any just on hand, because I mean, I deleted a lot of mode ones, but positioning. That is the biggest part to Awakening Wizard, and it's the hardest part to learn, to be honest. Like, sitting on this dummy and practicing a combo is easy, but positioning and knowing when to use it is hard. So the main thing I want to say is never be a Zerker or a Dracania. And by this, I mean never TP, this is the ball, directly into the center and just expect to do your combo flawlessly. You know, it's not going to work. Okay? You're going to get grabbed. You're going to get one shot. You're just going to die. It's bad. And you're going to be like, oh, Awakening Wizard sucks. Don't do that. You always will pretend this guy right here is the ball. Want to teleport behind or to the side. Because your best engaged skill is Hellfire, and it's a forward guard, right? So you always want to be behind or to the side. And if possible, have your back to the wall. So we'll use this as a good area to demonstrate it. TP behind, back to the wall. Doing my combo on this dummy. You know, whatever skills you press. I'm not really doing a combo right now, but always back to the wall, behind the enemies. This is the best case scenario for a wizard. And I'm sure in any of the clips you've seen of me, if you've seen any, I'm always having my back to the wall, and I'm always to the side or behind the enemy. That's the best way to get multiple kills, and that's honestly the only way to stay alive, because if you teleport in the center, you're just going to die. We're squishy, even with Mana Shield. So yeah. Nothing really crazy to talk about here. These are my add-ons. Left is uncapped, right is capped. They don't differ much because I'm lazy and I'm not really good at making add-ons. But here they are. You can copy them, pause the video, whatever you need. Alright, gear. So, I'm Evasion. Now, most Awakening Wizards, especially in the caster Discord, will tell you not to go Evasion. And I will agree with them if you are under 720 gear score. This build just does not work if you're a gearlet. I'm sorry to say, but DR is always the better option for damage anyway. The only time I would recommend doing evasion, like me, is if you are focusing on being tanky. If you like blowing up groups of people, 2-skilling gearlets, and all this other stuff, go DR. And there's many builds for DR. I'm not going to pretend to know all of them, because I don't. I've always been evasion. So, let's say you're interested in going evasion then. I'll talk about it because I know what to do with evasion. The starting point, I would say, Tet Distos, Pen Rings, Pen AP Neck, and Pen Belt. I'm sorry to say that that's a lot of gear, but if you do not have pen weapons in at least these 4 accessories pen, you are going to have a bad time because realistically, evasion is a high gear build, okay? Like, you only need dual armors. Like, you don't need to have Tet and Tries like me, but you do need to have duo. And a second thing that you have to have is you have to have a Centaur, a Sissel, and an Evasion offhand. And an Accuracy offhand, okay? They don't need to be Caphras 20, but you need to have them, okay? Because the point of evasion is swaps, okay? It's versatile. You have your evasion offhand and, you know, your evasion accessories to be meme build. You have your AP set for killing people. You have your 1 accessory swap, whichever you choose, to be sort of tanky and still kill people. You have your accuracy offhand to kill evasion players. Granted, your AP is high enough. See, mine is still not. Like, this is still not good enough now that Land of Morning Light is out to kill evasion. I need a Debo because people have so much DR behind their evasion now. Like, I'm not even buffed, and I'm a wizard, and I have 440. So, like, a gauntlet is going to have, like, 520 or something stupid, and you're never going to even scratch them. So, yeah, you have to want to be tanky in order to be evasion, and even still, you have to be, like, 720 plus, unfortunately. I'm going to put my crystals on screen here. The left is going to be my tanky build. It's named that. And my right is going to be my damage build. So when do I use these? I use my tanky build in small scale, and I use it in large scale with full AP accessories on. If I am fighting under geared guilds. If I'm fighting geared guilds that are obviously, you know, Caphras armor, Fallen Gods, whatever, I will always use my damage crystal preset in large scale, uncapped, because your main goal is to kill people still as a wizard, you know? Being alive a long time is good, but I'll usually wear, like, 1 evasion accessory with my damage crystals, and that feels really good. You're not getting popped, but, you know, you do good damage. So, yeah, here are my crystals. So, artifacts. I'll put them on screen, what I use. I use Mind Focus, capped and uncapped. For Wizard, when you have Mana Shield up, it is by far the best defensive set that you can have. It even passes untouchable in tankiness value when Mana Shield is up. And since I am only a large scale player, I do almost no small scale outside of the occasional GVG. You always have Mana Shield going on a dive, so you get huge value out of it. Now, if you are GVGing all the time, you know, you're dueling or whatever, Untouchable definitely passes it because you don't have Mana Shield up all the time in those situations. But for tankiness with Mana Shield, it's just too good, having that extra mana. Now, for damage, you can run Death Blow or Target Openings. I don't have them anymore. I only have Death Blow with monster artifacts, but those are very good for damage. For capped content specifically. Target Openings works for uncapped too, but I don't use them. I always use Mind Focus because I prefer to have the mana. It's just too nice to me. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'll put all my links in the description, Garmoth and all that. If you have any questions, please do not be afraid to comment. I will answer them because I know it was a lot in this video and I might have missed something, but yeah, thank you guys again. Love y'all.